Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Today, I'm going to be breaking down last night's three-game NBA slate. Normally, on a slate this small, I do not rock with a core four. I usually stack. And tonight, I made a little bit more to my buy-in back. It's okay. I usually just play these small slates. I'm not a big fan of them, but I play them just so that I can stay in the loop and stay abreast of what's been going on as far as the NBA is concerned. Man, a few really good games. We had some close point totals. Game ended up blowing out, but all in all, it was a good night of NBA. Saw a lot of good things to build forward to. We are still profitable for the week, so that is a plus. We are going to do. We're going to jump into our regular formatting of the show. Of course, you know that I don't issue out that core four, so there's no core four review. We're going to jump into the feature four plays of the night. Then we're going to do a quick recap, check out the player pricing, and then jump into the point totals. Now, usually when we first started this thing, when I was hungry and I was just, having a really nice streak, hit up YouTube, was just talking shit, man, bullshitting around, talking about the plays I had and the way I was rostering them, and I garnered this huge following. Shout out to you, thank you so much. It was given a voice on YouTube to go out and help folks to make money, man. And I can remember how hungry I was in the beginning. As soon as a slate began, not as soon as the slate was over. As soon as the slate began, I was looking at the next slate. Like I could not get enough basketball. I could not get enough DFS. And the hog got a little bit too fat recently. I started to. I had a couple of good nights where I didn't look at anything. I just wanted to give you my pure, unadulterated first look. And things went well that way. But recently, over the last week, ever since we was in that little slump as far as the core fours were concerned, I said I'm going back to the basics, man. I'm going to go back to what got everybody interested in following the show, following the program, and being a part of DFS Sweatshop. Uh, Non-stop research. So as soon as this slate kicked off and there was another one available, I went in and guess what? I found another point guard heavy 10 game slate. I feel instantaneously comfortable with this slate. I feel like we are in a really good spot. I looked at a lot of the point totals. We've got maybe one or two that are probably going to get away from a team, a couple blowouts, but everything else seems pretty close. Got a lot of great point guards. As you know, I am a point guard. My job, my duty in life is to assist. So I really feel comfortable and confident rolling into today's slate. Now, really cool thing, man. A guy hit me up, man, from the Facebook VIP. This is Steven walking by Faith Davis, the big homie. He says, "Yo, Mo, I took heed to your advice by making a late lineup and throwing it in the main. As a result, I tripled my buy-in and got out of my slump. The line that he showed me, it hit 282 DraftKings points, which was good money tonight. So he tripled his buy-in. It was good money tonight. And I cannot impress upon you the importance of. Now, think about it what are the circumstances for you jumping into the late slate? Be real with yourself and really answer that. Is it because you've been researching every specific slate all day and you have certain plays set up for each slate, whether it's a turbo or a late or a later, or do you have all of your marbles invested in the main? Shit starts looking bad around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just tilt and throw some shit in the turbo or in the late or in the later. And you haven't done a lot of research on those specific slates, so it doesn't really work out the way you thought it would. Well, how about if you took a little time to research and investigate those turbos, those lates, those main, and throw those lineups in the main? Because what you're going to be up against if you do that is a lot of people that just tilted into the late slate. They just tilted into the turbo. Fuck. The guy I spent 10K on that started the 7 o'clock game. It's in the third quarter and he's got like 15 points. Fuck it, I'm going to tilt and jump into the turbo or the late. And you're going to get a lot of guys in those lineups, in those tournaments that have not done the proper research. So why not do your research now? Do it in the beginning of the day. Make some turbo lines. Make some later lines. And if you really like them, throw them in the main too. So that's what this guy did, man, and it really worked out for him. That's some solid advice that I do have for you, man, as I do want to see you win. My number one goal is to see you win, man. I'm actually tossing and turning, going back and forth with being able to stop my night job at the restaurant. I love cutting hair. It's something that, a skill I really didn't know that I had until I got into my adult life. And I really love doing it. I love waiting tables as well, but something has got to go. I've got to make room, more space for you guys in the DFS sweatshop in some way. So I'm tossing and turning and waffling about how I'm going to work that out, but I'm sure you guys got my back. Let's go ahead and jump into the feature 4 plays of the night. These are the 4 most talked about, tweeted about guys in the DFS sweatshop, in the Facebook VIPs, as well as on Twitter. We're going to start with the Who Dat, scoring all them points over there, player of the night. And on a night where at the point guard position, my favorite position to roster on DraftKings, we only saw 3 guys that really made value. And this guy was the headliner. We're talking about Leandro Barbosa. He was the Who Dat, scoring all them points over there, player tonight. 2% owned, 3K minimum salary, goes out and brings back 25 DraftKings points. Shout out to you, Leandro. You are the Who Dat, scoring all them points over there, player of the night. The next guy we're going to talk about is the How Did I Miss That player tonight. Now, there's a really, really, really solid guy, man, a really great guy. He's in the Facebook VIP, and he was shouting from the rooftops, yo, Portis is in a really good spot. Power forwards played very well against the Golden State Warriors. You know they take centers out of the game. You got to take a look at Bobby Portis. And guess what I did? I fucking missed that. How the fuck did I miss that? I missed that play tonight. And at 7% ownership, so on a 3-game slate, if you can get a guy that's at 7% owned to do what he did, you're definitely going to be standing somewhere close to the winner's circle. 4.1K was the price point. It was very low, very, very affordable price point. He went out and got 37.25 DraftKings points and an excellent game we saw from Bobby Portis. The next guy I'm going to talk about is the heat check play tonight. This is the guy that doesn't have to be the highest in salary, doesn't have to score the most DraftKings points on the night, but above all else, this dude went out and fucking balled. And I'm telling you, the Oklahoma City Thunder made this guy look like Ben fucking Wallace. We're talking about Yusuf Nurkic. He went out and at 21% in ownership, 5.6K, damn near 10x on him, 55.5 DraftKings points. An excellent game from you, Yusuf Nurkic, and you are tonight's heat check play of the night. Now, we must talk about that one motherfucker. Now, this motherfucker, this old light-skinned motherfucker, this motherfucker goes out at 21% ownership, 7.2K, 24% ownership, 7.2K, brings us back 15.25 DraftKings points. So that tonight, Clay, you ran off on the motherfucking plug with your old snowflake ass. How the fuck do you go out and you rob us? You steal 7,200 DraftKings dollars. We give that to you. And you go out and you bring us a measly punk ass 15.25 DraftKings points. What the fuck is you smoking, brother? That don't correlate, family. That's horrible. You's a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass, and I ain't gonna roster your bitch ass again. Till I catch you in a juicy matchup that's real shooting guard friendly, and I know you're ready to go off for another 29 points in the quarter. I'm gonna roster you again. But tonight, you's a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass. Let's get on with the rest of the motherfucking show. Now, we're gonna jump into a very quick recap of last night's 3 games. We're gonna start in Chicago, where the Chicago Bulls were playing host to the Golden State Warriors. We're going to start on the Golden State side. We saw a very solid game from Patrick McCaw, the rookie who is starting in place of an injured Kevin Durant. Went out in 28 minutes, had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block while shooting 80% from the field. Hit the only 3-point shot that he took, hit a couple of free throws. Really excellent game there. We talking about Draymond Green next, 34 minutes. He had 12 and 8 to go with 7 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Damn near had a triple-double. He only shot 44% from the field, but he hit 2 of 5 3-point shots. Really solid game there for Draymond Green. Jaja Pachulia, we only saw him for 14 minutes. He had 8 points and 5 boards, 1 steal. Not a great game there. Klay Thompson, he led the team in minutes. Out there shacking the motherfucking fool. Old snowflake ass. 36 minutes, he had 13 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, while shooting 22% from the field. Horrible game. He took 22 shots, only hit 5. Took 11 motherfucking threes, only hit 1. Klay, snowflake ass motherfucker. Steph Curry in 35 minutes had 23 and 60 with 5 assists and 5 steals. Pretty nice game there. He shot 37% from the field. So the Golden State Warriors as a team did not shoot very well in this game. Steph Curry, he took 11 3-pointers as well and only hit 2. Horrible. And over the last few games, man, these guys have not been shooting very well as a tandem. And I remember a point like this last year where they were down in shooting and the other guys on the team was carrying. Well, they came out of that slump, and them motherfuckers went the fuck off. So we've got to be on the lookout for that. It's gonna happen. These two are gonna go off, especially without Kevin Durant down the stretch. These guys are gonna go off at some point. At some point, it's gonna be good to roster just both of them and just let it ride. But we're talking about Andre Iguodala next in 25 minutes. He had 10 and 7 with 2 assists, 4 for 6 from the field for 66%. That was all right. Did not hit a 3-point shot, but he hit 2 of 3 free throws. Not a great game there, but at the price point and on a 3-game slate, you couldn't really ask for too much more from him. On the Chicago Bulls side, we saw a really nice game from Jimmy Butler, man, in 35 minutes, leading the team. He had 22 and 5 with 6 assists, 4 steals, and 1 block. He shot 42% from the field, and he got to the free throw line 10 times, hit all 10 of them. So that was a really good showing there from the stripe. Bobby Portis, we talked about him. He was the how did I miss that play tonight? In 31 minutes, he had 17 and 13. Nice double-double. Also blocked the shot while shooting 50% from the field, and he hit 2 of 4 3-point shots. Pretty good game there from Bobby Portis. Robin Lopez in 22 minutes had 10 and 3 with 1 block while shooting 33% from the field. When Robin Lopez is taking 15 shots, something is wrong. Something is seriously wrong. Dwayne Wade, not a great game from him. In 33 minutes, he had 12 and 5 with 3 assists and 2 steals, but they got the win. That's all he really cared about. And Felicio, off of the bench in 25 minutes, he pulled down 11 boards, but he only had 2 points, 1 assist, and 1 steal. The price point on him was so low that it was okay. It was okay. Those rebounds more than made up for all the other deficiencies he had in this game. Paul Zipser in 22 minutes had 9 and 4 with 1 assist and 1 steal, and we saw a horrible performance from Cam Payne in 12 minutes. He had 4 points and 1 assist. Even Rajon Rondo stank up the joint. He played 12 minutes and had 8 and 3 to go with 3 assists. So you can safely say, man, if it ain't Jimmy Butler or Dwayne Wade, you don't really want to fuck with this team too much. You just don't want to do that. The next game we're going to talk about is going to be the Phoenix Suns at the crib defending home turf against the Charlotte Hornets. And this game seemed to be a really good game. It was going to be very close down the stretch, so we thought. But then Allen Williams come out of nowhere and just starts balling the fuck out, rips the ball from Frank Kaminsky's hands, tearing his shoulder out of the socket, and that's when the game totally changed. After that, the game was not the same at all. We're going to start on the Hornets side where Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, MKG, played 28 minutes. He had 7 and 8 with 1 assist, 6 steals. Very nice game for him. We're going to talk about Marvin Williams in 28 minutes, had 19 and 4 to go with a steal and a block. Pretty good game there. Frank Kaminsky, before he got hurt, he did play 31 minutes. He had 16 points, 1 board, and 2 steals. And Nick Batum, not a good game from him in 35 minutes. He had 12 points, 3 boards, and 5 assists while shooting 20% from the field. Took 9 3-pointers, only hit 2 of them. But Kemba Walker, he led the team in scoring. He had a really solid game, man. 35 minutes, 26 points, 4 boards, 8 assists, 2 steals while shooting 41%. He hit 3 of 11 from 3. If he has a better 3-point shooting game, it was a monster for him now. Him playing this well on the road recently has really got me waiting for him to get back home because I'm definitely going to give him a shot the next time he is at the Beehive. On the Phoenix side, TJ Warren was a very solid play. In 26 minutes, he had 16 points, 8 boards, 1 assist, while blocking 2 shots, shooting 72% from the field. Pretty solid game there. Marcus Chris went out of the game early, but he did come back. And when he did, he started to ball out, man. He only played 21 minutes, but he had 17 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist while shooting 66% from the field, hit 3 of 4 3-point shots, and hit a couple from the free throw. Alex Len underwhelmed in his 15 minutes. He had 5 and 5 with 1 assist, and once Allen Williams got on the court, there was no more. I mean, the crazy part about this game was the Phoenix Suns weren't blowing them out terribly, but they were up enough that the second team just stayed on the court for the duration of the game. So we didn't see the starters get back on, and I think that's what led to a guy like Eric Bledsoe in 25 minutes, only scoring 14 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. He shot 75% from the field, only took 4 shots the entire game. He hit 3 of them. We needed to see more scoring, more shooting, more attempts from Eric Bledsoe in order for him to really make value. Allen Williams, talked about him in 24 minutes. He had 16 and 12 with 1 steal and 1 block, shooting 77% from the field. Pretty good game there. And Viaggio Barbosa off of the bench. We talked about him earlier as the who that scoring all them points over there player tonight. He had 16 and 4 with 1 assist and 2 steals. And Tyler Eulis dished out 8 dimes in 23 minutes, most of it in scrub love. He also had 8 points, 1 rebound, and 2 steals. Pretty good game from the rookie. The last game on the slate, the late night hammer game, featured a couple of the best point guards in the league, guys who I love to watch play the game. We're going to start on the Oklahoma City side of it. Andre Roberson shat the bed for 30 minutes. He had 2 and 4 with 1 assist and 2 steals, 3 blocks. Not a great game from him. Domantas Sabonis only played 10 minutes. Why the fuck is this dude starting? I'm going to continue to ask that question every time I see this shit. He had 2 points and 1 assist, only took 1 shot. He didn't make it. Horrible game. Horrible game from him. Steven Adams, I wasn't on him at all. Didn't have a good game. 2 and 6 with 1 steal. Not a great game there from him. Alex Abrines only played 9 fucking minutes. He had 6 points. And Dougie McDermott is obviously the guy they like to give the minutes to because he played 36 of them. And he had 9 and 4 with 1 assist while shooting 33% from the field. Russell Westbrook, the dude took 16 threes tonight. He hit 6 of them, but god damn, Russ, 16 threes? He's just dropped 45 points, but he had 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal to go with the block, and that snapped that consecutive triple-double streak that he was on. Enes Kanter off of the bench, he ate for 27 minutes. He had 18 and 10 with 1 steal, and Taj Gibson, a solid game for him off of the bench. And I think he really likes being a part of this team, and I really think he wanted to get out of Chicago. He was okay with that. He likes playing with a guy like Russell Westbrook. He knows a lot of shots are going to go up. He's going to have a lot of rebounding and opportunities to put shots back and maybe get his points up. So that's really good for him. In 32 minutes, he had 15 and 6 to go with 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Pretty good game there from him. On the Portland Trailblazers side, I got to say the best play in this game and on the slate in general was Yusuf Nurkic. He led the team in minutes. He played 37 minutes. He had 18 points, 12 boards, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 5 blocks while shooting 70% from the field, hit 4 of 5 from the free throw. Really great game there. Dame Lillard dropped 33 points. He had 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal while shooting 47% from the field. And we saw a decent game from CJ McCollum, 18 and 6 to go with 4 assists while shooting 35% from the field. Not a great shooting clip there. Al-Farouq Aminu also chipped in off of the bench in 31 minutes. He had 14 and 6 to go with 1 assist, 3 steals, and 1 block. And Maurice Harkless, he damn near doubled on him in 34 minutes. He had 10 and 9 to go with a steal while only shooting 28% from the field. He did hit 1 3-point shot after taking 3 of them. Pretty decent game there for him. Now that we've recapped last night's games, let's go ahead and jump into a very quick player pricing for tomorrow's 10-game slate. This is a monster, and you know there's a lot of point guards on the slate, and there's a lot of mid-level point guards on the slate that we're gonna want to take a look at, most certainly. But we're gonna do a quick let's do some slate recognition real quick to get an idea of where. I see you can see this all of this popped up. See, all this is food. Let's eat. All this is food. This is edible. This is edible. This is the way they got this set up. This is an edible arrangement right here. Let's go and check it out. So we got 10 games jumping off at 7 o'clock. We've got a 2-game turbo at 8. We've got a 3-game turbo at 8:30. We've got a 2-game later. And we've also got a 4-game late. So start now. Don't wait until you've tilted in the main slate to the point to where you're just throwing anything in there because it's 8:55 and you gotta have a late lineup in by 9. The guy you started at 7 o'clock, your main guy that you really loved is shitting the bed in the second quarter, only has 3 points. So you say, fuck it, I'm gonna jump into turbo. And it starts at 8 o'clock, so it's 7:55, and you're just throwing any fucking body in there. Don't do that because so many other motherfuckers are gonna do that. If we take time and attack these turbos and lates, we're gonna have a jump on everybody. That's just tilting from not doing so well in the main. So let's go ahead and jump up, open that main slate up. That way we can get a look at everyone and see what the player pricing is. And what we're attempting to do here, or what we are doing here, is we are generating a player pool. Guys in our heads that we really like, that we're gonna be taking advantage of their matchups, the DVP, the rankings, everything that we're gonna be researching all day tomorrow. So as we can see, the first things first is we've got Russell Westbrook. He is the highest salaried guy on the slate at 13.1. You know what? Any other night, I'll be like, you know what? Fuck that. I can't play Russell Westbrook. I really can't. But coming off a loss, to the Portland Trail Blazers. They're on a road trip right now. It's a back-to-back for both teams. I think both point guards in this game are going to want to play well. I see Russell Westbrook having a really solid game tomorrow at 3.1. We don't have a guy like James Harden to choose from who we're going to spend more than 12K for. It's only one option, and I don't think he's going to see a ton of ownership. I really don't, just because there's so much mid-level point guard play involved in the slate. So I think if you do get your hands on Russell Westbrook, you're going to have him at a very solid ownership at 3.1K. I mean 13.1K. That price is sky high. But if you wanted to take a shot on him, I have no problem with that. LeBron James at 11.2. I don't like LeBron James unless I'm stacking Cleveland. Now, I am going to make some Cleveland stacks. I always do. I always do. And against the Atlanta Hawks, who fucking suck and who have been getting the doors blown off of them lately, somebody's got to do the blowing out. And it could very well be a guy like LeBron James on the slate. Giannis Antetokounmpo, who has not been playing very well lately, he is in a slump. I don't think the slump officially ends tomorrow. He is at home, so that is a plus. But going up against the LA Clippers, man, both teams have not been playing very great basketball lately. So that leads me to believe that I want some rebounding in this game. I don't want to attack the perimeters in this game. I want some rebounding in this game. So I won't be fucking with Giannis too tough. John Wall at 9.7 is in a very plus matchup. Anytime you can get John Wall under 10K, it is something to consider. I kind of like him tomorrow going up against Corey Joseph. Anthony Davis at 9.4 is not a play that I'm particularly interested in. I might as well, if I'm going to spend 9.4 for Anthony Davis, I might as well get a mad at the NBA Boogie Cousins at 9.2 that I know is probably not going to get hurt. If I'm going to roster any of these guys, it'll be Boogie. It won't be Anthony Davis. Isaiah Thomas plus matchup at 9.3 going up against the LA Lakers. This is going to be a late night hammer game. Dude's playing at 10:30. Blake Griffin is a player that I really like. I talked about, if I want to attack the LA Clippers and Milwaukee game, I'm going to do that reaps with some rebounders, and I like Blake Griffin tomorrow. Chris Paul is not a player that I'm particularly on, and that's kind of weird. Rarely do I not like Chris Paul, but tomorrow for some reason, something is telling me that I can get more value in the mid-level rather than rostering Chris Paul up high and then somebody else down low. DeMar DeRozan at 8.9. He does deserve consideration for me today. He's going to be matched up against Bradley Beal. They're very similar players, and I think they're kind of going to have a shootout. So I don't have a problem with him. Kawhi Leonard at 8.8. This game could stay closer than maybe the point spread says, but I think Kawhi Leonard is definitely in play. Eric Bledsoe at 8.5. He's in play. I love Kyrie Irving tomorrow, especially in a Cleveland stack, busting up that Atlanta shit. We know we like to attack them on the perimeter. We did that with Isaiah Thomas early in the week. I like that. Hassan Whiteside is questionable. We're going to have to keep a lookout on him. If he does play at 8.1K, I don't have a problem with him. Marc Gasol is a play. Man, this says they're the first-ranked DVP against centers. How the fuck? Marc Gasol is going to destroy them tomorrow at 7.9K. I like Marc Gasol tomorrow. Mike Conley at 7.8. I like him as well. Kevin Love is going to be out. Kyle Lowry, he's out. Gordon Hayward at 7.6. Now, I was just in a situation where I didn't like Gordon Hayward. Tomorrow, I love him. I think we can roster all kind of ways against the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow. See, the beauty of the Brooklyn Nets is sometimes they come to play. They always come to lose, but sometimes they come to play. Sometimes they do come to play. And, this game could be close. We've got a couple of narratives involved in this game. I think Gordon Hayward's going to be a very solid play at 7.6. Carmelo at 7.5. He's going to be facing some Robert Covington defense. So I'm not. And plus, we're going to have the team at full strength, so to speak. Hernan Gomez will probably be back tomorrow. We're probably going to see Porzingis again. So I'm not going to fuck with Carmelo Anthony. If the game was in New York, I would feel better. Dario Saric at 7.4. He does deserve consideration in that spot there. Rudy Gobert, I absolutely love Rudy Gobert tomorrow at 7.3. I'm going to stack two teams tomorrow. I'm going to stack Cleveland. I'm going to stack Utah. Nikolai Vucevic at 7.2 is a decent play, especially if we don't see Hassan Whiteside tomorrow, because nobody's going to be able to guard him at all. Robert Covington is the player that I really like at 7.2. He's going to be seeing some Carmelo Anthony defense, which is the Olay, no defense at all. Give me some of that. Goran Dragic is not a play that I'm particularly interested in tomorrow. I do like Paul Millsap at 7K flat. DeAndre Jordan, I told you about the rebounders in the LA Clippers and Milwaukee game. Both of these teams have been shooting horribly lately. It's going to be a lot of rebounding. I like DeAndre Jordan. Bradley Beal at 7K. We talked about him earlier. Now, in this game where we have DeMar DeRozan against Bradley Beal, Bradley Beal is a better defender than DeMar DeRozan. They are in Washington. I would take a shot on Bradley Beal and get that discount because they're very similar players. Very similar players. Can get very hot, can drop 40 at a moment's notice. I would take Bradley Beal at that discount before I paid up to a guy like DeMar DeRozan. I like Bradley Beal tomorrow. Drew Holiday at 6.9. Do not be afraid of the San Antonio point guard defense. There's no problem with rostering Drew Holiday. The only question mark is going to be how bad he's been playing with both Boogie and AD in the lineup. So I think because of that, people are going to take notice, and that he's not going to be as highly rostered at all as he was the last time out. D'Angelo Russell um, going up against Isaiah Thomas is a really good play. I think this is a late night hammer game. I have no problem with rostering D'Angelo Russell as well as Julius Randle. Now these are two things that have kind of become sweatshop laws in one game. So you know you can stack this team in the late in the 4 game late. Uh, Point guards against Isaiah Thomas is taking candy from a baby, especially athletic slasher point guards who can actually shoot the deep shot and make him respect them putting the ball on the floor. Then you've got our insatiable uh, desire to attack Boston rebounding the basketball. We're talking about Julius Randle, 6.8K, had a really nice game out last time. This dude plays well in streaks. I don't think I've ever seen him have a good game and then the very next game have a bad one. I like Julius Randle tomorrow. Serge Ibaka, 6.7. It says this is a 28th ranked defense against the power forward position. We know that he's going to be matched up with a guy like Markieff Morris. I have no problem with him tomorrow. Although I would like Markieff Morris on the other side because Serge Ibaka don't play no damn defense. Devin Booker at 6.7 is not a play that I'm particularly interested in tomorrow. Kristaps, yes, give me some of that at 6.6. I kind of like Dwight Howard at 6.5. Most other centers against Tristan Thompson, I don't want to roster, but Dwight Howard is such a physically imposing presence that if he does come to play and he does want to play, he can see a solid double-double. Joel Embiid is out for the rest of the season. Dion Waiters. Now, this right here is very interesting because if Dion Waiters doesn't play, that calls in a guy like Josh Richardson, maybe some Rodney McGruder. At 6.4K, this is a very easy team to attack against the shooting guard / small forward position. I like him. George Hill, we talked about attacking the Brooklyn Nets in every position. He's going to be seeing some Jeremy Lin defense. I'm not scared of that. 6.3, mid-level. I like that. Dennis Schroeder, 6.2, mid-level, going against Kyrie Irving. I have no problem with that. Al Horford at 6.2. I even like that. So there's a ton of plays in the mid-level that we can use. Markieff Morris, we just talked about him being matched up with Serge Ibaka at 6.1. Give me Markieff Morris over Serge Ibaka. People are going to see that green light with Serge, and they're going to roster him. They're going to look at the last game he had. Oh, he just dropped 44 points. And they're going to take Serge. Give me Markieff at the discount. Harrison Barnes. I've been really good at gauging when to roster Harrison Barnes this year, and I don't think tomorrow is the time. Marcus Aldridge at 6.1. The one thing I like about this when it comes to LMA is he's going to have to be on the floor a lot because we know the New Orleans Pelicans have two very active bigs. They're going to want to have one of their best, defensive presences out there. I don't think we're going to see a ton of Paul Gasol. I think there's going to be a lot of Dedmon, a lot of Aldridge, and a lot of David Lee. I like those guys tomorrow. Chris Middleton at 6K. The price is up on him. If I find out tomorrow that he's going to play 30 minutes again, I'll check, please. I'll take some of that Chris Middleton on me. Pull him all over me, baby. Seth Curry is a no for me. Derrick Rose is not in play for me tomorrow at 6K. He's going to be facing TJ McConnell. And this is a perfect spot for Derrick Rose to lay a fucking egg after a good game when I decide to roster him. So for that reason, I'm not fucking with him. Vic Oladipo will probably not play tomorrow at 6K. If he does, I still don't like him. Guillermo Hernangomez at 5.9. If he does play and we find out that he's straight and he's good to go and he's going to start, then that's cool. But if not, I'm not fucking with him. Brook Lopez will probably be the contrarian play over the day. Now, the reason why I say this is because this dude can score different ways. He doesn't rebound the ball very well, so he's not even going to work hard on that. We're going to see a lot of those rebounds go to Gobert. But if he's scoring the ball well, shooting a pretty good shot from deep, is getting some help from his teammates, and they kind of stay in the game, this can be a very contrarian play in Brook Lopez at 5.9. I do like TJ Warren at 5.8. Greg Monroe, the rebounder from the Milwaukee side. I like him at 5.7. We know that they did sign Terrence Jones. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to play tomorrow, but they don't have Michael Beasley. Jabari Parker is out. Somebody's got to do some of the dirty work, and I think Greg Monroe can be a solid play for the Milwaukee Bucks at home against the LA Clippers. Marcin Gortat is a play that I like at 5.7, matched up a lot of the game with a guy like Jonas Valanciunas. I don't see a problem with that. We know Ian Mahinmi is still on that minutes limit, so we're going to see it probably 30 minutes plus for Marcin Gortat. I have no problem with that. Zach Randolph, I wish this game was at the Grindhouse because I love him there. But something is telling me that he is in a good spot at 5.7. He's going to be matched up probably definitely with the second team guys from Dallas. And dude can eat. This is a starting level power forward. I like him. Jay Crowder is also in consideration at 5.7. Malcolm Brogdon, if we know he's going to get the start, I don't like him at 5.6. I'm good. Otto Porter at 5.6. He is in play for me. And I think I see like a Washington stack brewing. Don't you see that? You smell that? They're at home against Toronto. Smell like a Washington stack brewing. I kind of like that. Evan Fournier at 5.6 is not a play that I'm interested in. James Johnson, one of my favorite plays on the slate. This dude not only plays the power forward spot, the first big off of the bench. Whiteside is questionable with a stomach bug. So if Whiteside doesn't play or he can't play a ton of minutes, you're going to see that increase for James Johnson. A lot of people think it's going to go to Okara, right? But that's not the truth. This dude plays some point forward whenever we do see Whiteside sit down. When him and Goran Dragic are on the floor together. Remember, I watch every NBA game, man. I love James Johnson tomorrow at 5.6. He just scored 30, and the price didn't move. I like him. Kyle O'Quinn at 5.6 is not a play that I'm particularly interested in. Neither is Elfrid Payton. Terrence Ross at 5.5. I like him more on FanDuel at 4.9. TJ McConnell is in play at 5.4. Don't let the third-ranked DVP fool you. The Knicks suck at the point guard defending position. Paul Gasol is a no for me. Enes Kanter at 5.4 is a play that I'm kind of interested in tomorrow. I kind of like him. Steven Adams is a no for me. Jordan Clarkson, yes, at 5.4. Avery Bradley is probably going to still have those minutes restricted, so I will not be going there. I don't like Dirk Nowitzki. Derek Favors is in play for me at 5.3. Marcus Smart is a play that I kind of like at 5.3 as well. Corey Joseph is a no for me. I just don't see the upside in rostering a guy like Corey Joseph. The dude's ceiling is like 25, 27 points. That's a ceiling. I'm good on that. I'd much rather take Tyler Johnson, who can drop 35, 40 at 5.2. I'd much rather do that. Tristan Thompson at 5.1. He is in play for me tomorrow, especially in my Cleveland stack. We know Wes Matthews is probably going to be out tomorrow. We're going to see a lot more Lil Bruh. You can take that if you want to, but I don't think I'm going to have too much to do with that. Gino Okafor is a no. Rashawn Holmes at 4.8 is in play for me. No Jeremy Lin there. I don't want that. Brandon Ingram is in play at 4.8. I do not like Yogi Ferrell at 4.7. Now, we just found out that Nerlens Noel is going to be getting a start at 4.7. Nerlens Noel is like a fucking grasshopper. And he's young, and he's not all here. Any head fake or sudden move that, because if you start in the center, he's going to be matched up against Marc Gasol. Any move Marc Gasol make, dude's going to jump out the gym. I foresee him getting two quick fouls. And then for that reason, I'm not fucking with Nerlens Noel tomorrow. Courtney Lee at 4.7 is a player that kind of interests me there. So does Tony Allen at 4.6. I like him. He's gonna be locked up with maybe a little bruh playing a shooting guard like that. JJ Redick will probably be the only offensive-minded player from the LA Clippers that I could roster with confidence tomorrow, aside from Blake Griffin. But I like Blake Griffin because he has that double-double upside. Giannis Valanciunas at 4.5. I don't have a problem with him. Rodney Hood is out, so that automatically puts Joe Ingles and or Joe Johnson into play. Tony Parker at 4.5. If he is starting, I like him at 4.5. Bojan at 4.4 is a player that we can look at. Dwayne Dedmon is probably one of my favorite of the cheap plays. One of my favorite guy around 4K. I really like him tomorrow. I think he's in a very solid matchup. They're going to want to keep a big, like I said, on the floor. Him, LaMarcus Aldridge, as well as David Lee, are going to have to stay on the floor, one of them or two of them at all times, because they've got two very active bigs in Anthony Davis and in Boogie Cousins. Allen Williams at 4.4 is a very solid play tomorrow. I kind of like him. He just dropped 36 points, and the price didn't move. Tim Hardaway Jr. at 4.3 is going to be matched up against Kyle Korver. So maybe Tim Hardaway wants to say, let me show you why they got rid of you and ball. Maybe that's what he wants to do. Trevor Booker, this is a revenge game, man. He came over from the Utah Jazz. I think he can be in a very solid spot. But the game just doesn't have that up-paced tempo. The game is in Utah, so it's going to be a very slow-paced game. I like Trevor Booker in more fast, high-speed pace. Marcus Chris, he only played 21 minutes last night. The dude is like 20 years old. Give me some of that Marcus Chris. He's not tired from the back-to-back. Channing Frye's going to be getting a start at 4.2 tomorrow with Kevin Love out. I don't mind looking towards him. The coach's son is getting a ton of run at 4.2. This game could get away from the Milwaukee Bucks, and I think if that does happen, it's because guys like Austin Rivers came in with the second team and balled out. So I kind of like him tomorrow. PJ Tucker is a no for me. I do like Ronnie Hollis Jefferson. He's going to see a ton of defensive usage. He's going to be on the court a lot because he's going to be tasked with the job of slowing down Gordon Hayward. And with that being said, he does other little things while he's out. He gets rebounds. He gets a few assists. He gets 2 steals, or maybe a block or 2. I do like Ronnie Hollis Jefferson tomorrow. I think that Kelly Olynyk is in play because this game could get away from the LA Lakers. Even though it's in LA, the game could get away from him. If that's the case, I like him. Kyle Korver in his return to Atlanta is a play that I'm kind of keen on. I do like him. I may have him inside of one of my Cleveland stacks. Ersan Ilyasova at 4.1 is a no for me. Andre Roberson deserves consideration if we don't see Vic Oladipo tomorrow. Jaylen Brown is a no. Deron Williams at 4K, no for me. No. I've got to see what the backup point guard minutes are actually like. Kent Bazemore. I said his name. You heard that? What's up, Kent? Everything good? Good to see you the other night, man. 4K starting against Cleveland. I don't have a problem with Kent Bazemore tomorrow. Jermichael Green at 4K is a play that I think can be a very sneaky play. I really do. Because he hasn't had a good couple of games out last time. They're going up against the Dallas Mavericks. He's going to see Dirk Nowitzki because we know that starting center is going to be Nerlens Noel. He might can get you a cheap double-double for 4K. I love Joe Ingles in that spot at 4K tomorrow. I'm going to have me some of that. David Lee, we talked about him. He is in play off of the bench. Alex Abrines is a no for me. Alex Len, 4K. No. Well, if he does get the start, he is in play. If he starts, he's in play. Because centers have been eating against the Oklahoma City Thunder lately. So I could definitely see him playing there. Matthew Dellavedova, they may start him tomorrow just to kind of keep pace and try to slow down Chris Paul because he is a pesky defender. If that's the case, I still don't like him. DeMarre Carroll at 3.9 is in play for me. The guy's too cheap right now. I like Josh Richardson a lot if we don't see Dion Waiters tomorrow. Shelvin Mack is a no. Sean Kilpatrick is a no. Karis LeVert had a really solid game out last time. Do not think he's able to repeat that. Nick Young is a no. Derek Williams is a no for me. I take that back. This game's probably going to blow up. I do like Derek Williams tomorrow. Jeff Green is a no. Vince Carter, he got ejected in his last game out. This game is in Dallas. I do not like Vince Carter very much. I think Gerald Henderson could be a really solid play tomorrow, 3.8K. I like Gerald Henderson tomorrow. Sauce at 3.8 is a no for me. Danny Green, yes at 3.8. Taj Gibson, yes at 3.8 tomorrow against the Phoenix Suns. I love Larry Nance. If you want to pay down at that power forward spot, if you want to attack Boston rebounds in basketball, I have no problem with that. Now, if Willie Reed is out tomorrow, he's questionable. So if Willie Reed and we have a questionable tag on Hassan Whiteside, Akara White is in play. I know James Johnson is definitely in play. Lance Thomas is a no. DeJounte Murray is probably not going to play tomorrow, starting because I think we're going to see Tony Parker back. Thabo Sefolosha is going to be tasked with, I think, playing a little bit of D on LeBron maybe, so 3.6. That's not a bad play there. Jamal Crawford at 3.6. I kind of like him. Brandon Jennings, he may play his first game with the Washington Wizards tomorrow. And if that's the case, man, 3.6K, why not? No Norman Powell for me. Patty Mills, no. Dougie McBuckets, yes, he does deserve consideration. If you want to attack Boston rebounding even cheaper than you did with Larry Nance Jr., Ivica Zubac is definitely a play that you can definitely look at. Raymond Felton at 3.5 is a no for me. John Henson is a no. Andrew Harrison is a no. Etwan Moore, no. Tyson Chandler, no. Tony Snell, no. Chandler Parsons is not a play that I like. Spencer Dinwiddie is not a play that I like. Amir Johnson at 3.4 is in play for me tomorrow. If he does get to start playing that power forward / center position, we can look at him. Joe Johnson, yes, at 3.3. Give me some of that tomorrow, especially with Rodney Hood out. Jonathan Simmons is a no for me. Let's go ahead and find that 3K play of the day. The 3K play of the day. The 3K play of the day for me is going to be Hmm. 3K play tomorrow. Where's the 3K play at? All right, Akara White is 3K. If we get some injury news, a lot of people are gonna want to gravitate toward him going against the Orlando Magic. But a guy that I really like at 3K, Troy Daniels is somebody we can definitely look at. We can look at him tomorrow. Also, where is he? Where is he? Alec Burks at 3K tomorrow is a play that I really like against the Brooklyn Nets. Remember that. Tomorrow's 3K play is Alec Burks. That is tomorrow's 3K play of the day. Now, that we've jumped into and really took care of uh, the player pricing for tonight's 10-game monster slate, we talked a little bit about slate recognition, where to put your investments. Now we're going to talk about which games you want to invest in, because a key to this, man, is understanding the point totals, understanding the Vegas odds, and what it means uh, in your roster builds. Because this is something that you've got to take a hold of. You've got to do it. So it's 10 games. We're going to roll through it as quickly as we can. We're going to start in Philadelphia, where my New York Knicks are going to be on the road taking on the Philadelphia 76ers in the city of brotherly love. And last time's Knicks stack was the nuts, and I don't think that's the case for tonight, though. This is a nice point total. It was 216 points is the total. The New York Knicks are giving up 2 points to the Philadelphia 76ers. These guys play very well at home. And for that reason, I think TJ McConnell is in play. I think Dario Saric is in play. I love Robert Covington tomorrow. He's going to be seeing a ton of defensive usage guarding Melo, so he's going to be on the floor a lot. And I think Rashawn Holmes can also be a solid play at 4.8 on the New York Knicks side. The only guy that I am really, really, really confident in returning value is Kristaps Porzingis, especially if we don't see Willie Hernangomez tomorrow. We can definitely hang our hats on a guy like Kristaps in a matchup like this. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Miami Heat going to Orlando. So they're not leaving Florida. This is not necessarily a road game. It's going to be Orlando Magic at the crib. 207.5 points is the total. The spread is only a -3.5 in favor of the Miami Heat. So that makes the Orlando Magic a home dog. You know how I feel about home dogs. They get that added bump because they're going to have that crowd participation with them. And I think Nikolai Vucevic will be a solid play in this game. I think you can look to Aaron Gordon in some spots. I have no problem if you want to go Evan Fournier, because we know we're not going to be seeing there's a chance that we don't see Dion Waiters tomorrow, who is a pretty decent defender, and they're going to be concentrating on shutting the point guard down. We talk about Elfrid Payton, so I do like a couple of guys on the Orlando side. And back to Miami, I'm not on Goran Dragic. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Washington Wizards at home in the nation's capital, hosting the Toronto Raptors without Kyle Lowry. This is a 209-point total, with the Washington Wizards giving up 4.5 points. So they are a home favorite. Man, we talked about the comparison between a guy like DeMar DeRozan at his price point with Brad Beal. And take this from me. If you want to play DeMar DeRozan tomorrow, just play Bradley Beal. They're the same fucking guy. Beal is just cheaper, and he still sees shots because he's got a very good offensive-minded, pass-first point guard, which he's been trying to play that way this year in John Wall. I also like John Wall. I think this is a really solid double-double spot for him, possibly a triple-double spot for him. Markieff Morris is in play for me. When we talk about Serge Ibaka, is a player that people are going to be interested in, but I do like Markieff Morris just for a little bit cheaper. I also like Martin Gortat. So this game, for me, the Washington side seems to be fairly stackable. It seems to be fairly stackable. I kind of like this a lot. I do. Not too much for me to like on the Toronto Raptors side. The only position I think I really can attack is for the cheap, and that's Jonas Valanciunas and maybe some DeMar Carroll tomorrow. I'm not going to be on DeRozan very much. The next game we're going to talk about is the Cleveland Cavaliers going to Atlanta to take on the Hawks. This is a 214-point total. The Cleveland Cavaliers are the favorite, giving up 3 points to the Atlanta Hawks. So that means the Hawks are a home dog, and that's surprising that the point total is only 3 points. That's surprising. Now, I'm stacking Cleveland tomorrow. I'm gonna have a couple different ones. I'm gonna stack 3, maybe 4 deep in both of them, but they're gonna be mixed and matched. The only 2 guys that are probably gonna be in both of them are gonna be Kyrie and LeBron. This is Kyle Korver going back to Atlanta, where he spent a lot of his career there, coming from Philadelphia, then playing in Atlanta for a few years. I think he's going to go back there and have a solid game. He's definitely going to be involved in some of my stacks. Maybe a LeBron, Kyrie, Korver, Tristan Thompson stack, or Kyrie, LeBron, Korver, and Channing Frye. So I'm gonna have some Cleveland guys in a couple of lineups. Definitely on the Atlanta side, we talked about the point guard position being very easily attackable. We'll be talking about approaching that Cleveland perimeter, and this can be done with a guy like Dennis Schroeder. I think he's in a really solid spot. He's at home, so I like him even more. We're gonna see some Tim Hardaway in this game, maybe some Thabo Cephalosha. Now that I think about it, I won't be fucking with Dwight Howard. There's just too much good shit on the slate. Too many, I think for sure fire guys. And I made a few lineups already where I didn't even have to roster a center. Can you believe that? I made a couple of DraftKings lineups where I didn't even roster a fucking center. I had James Johnson at that center spot. He is power forward slash center eligible. I had Kristaps Porzingis in that same spot, and also had them paired in a couple of lineups. So, this is a very flexible slate, and it's opened up because, see, if value opens up today, it won't really kill you the way it did last time. Last time out, if you didn't roster the value and hit on the value, it was kind of hard to really make a dent in these tournaments. But there's so much, good shit in that mid-level that, you could, if a guy pays down to a value player and then pays all the way up to Russell Westbrook, you can get the same thing by staying in the middle. So I think tomorrow's going to be a really balanced slate, a really solid way to attack tomorrow's slate. I think is going to be a clear, balanced lineup. Maybe pay up in one spot, pay down in another spot, and then pay evenly across the board for the rest of your lineup. I think that's going to be the way to go. Next game I'm going to talk about is the LA Clippers at the Milwaukee Bucks. And you know what? This is a 213-point total with the Milwaukee Bucks being the home dog. So the Clippers are giving up 3.5 points to them. And as much as I love Chris Paul, and I've got to get him in maybe a lineup, but I just don't love the spot that he's in tomorrow. I just don't love it. I'd much rather attack this game from a defensive standpoint, getting some rebounds, and I can do that a couple of ways with the LA Clippers. I can do that with Blake Griffin, who I kind of like. I can do that with DeAndre Jordan, who is still moderately priced across both sites. Greg Monroe is somebody that we can definitely look to. Giannis is going to be in a lot of lineups. Giannis is not going to be in my lineups tomorrow. I still don't like the way he's been playing recently. So we can look definitely to the coach's son if you want to get cheap with it. Maybe some Jamal Crawford. This game could blow out. I know it's a 3.5 point total, and the Milwaukee Bucks are home, but they've just not been playing very well lately. And the LA Clippers, man, what the fuck could they do last time against the Houston Rockets? The Rockets just hit 20 fucking three pointers in the first half. That was all they could. There's nothing they could do with that. They couldn't outshoot them. So the Clippers could have a solid game here. Next game I'm going to talk about is the lowest point total on the slate. This is one of the lowest point total I've seen in quite some time. It is the Memphis Grizzlies going to Dallas to take on the Mavericks. That's 190 points is the total. The only good thing about this is the Memphis Grizzlies are only giving up 3 points, so it's a fairly close spread. And who knows, man? Sometimes these games with these low point totals, they surprise us. Sometimes they do. And if I could pick one game that I would bet on for sure to go over, it's going to be this game. I think this game does go over 190 points. I think we see solid games from Marc Gasol as well as Mike Conley. I like Tony Allen. He's in a really solid spot. Going to be seeing a ton of defensive usage matched up against Lil Bruh or even Harrison Barnes. And this is not too much for me to like on the Dallas Mavericks side. There's not too much for me to like. Not at all. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Oklahoma City Thunder going to Phoenix. This is the second stop on their, I think, a 4-game road trip. We've got a 225-point total. Finally, a sign of major scoring life. The Oklahoma City Thunder are only giving up 4 points in this game. The Phoenix Suns coming off a really solid win against the Charlotte Hornets. So we see that when these guys are dialed in, playing together as one unit, they can play very well. We always talk about how Russell Westbrook expends so much offensive energy that it's really hard for him to be, a really locked down defender. And I have no problem with that 8.5K. You going out and you rostering a guy like Eric Bledsoe. I have no problem with Eric Bledsoe in your lineups. I kind of like Marcus Chris in this matchup as well. He only played 21 minutes last time out. We can attack Oklahoma City at the center spot. Do that with maybe Allen Williams, because he's going to be on the second team going up against Enes Kanter, who doesn't play any defense. Or you can go Alex Lynn for a little bit cheaper That's going to be matched up against Steven Adams. Now, do I like Steven Adams in this game? I think he does kind of bounce back. I don't have a problem with rostering him. On the Oklahoma City side, I do like Andre Roberson tomorrow. Something is telling me he's going to have a solid game tomorrow. I like him. And TJ Warren is also going to be a decent play and a part of my overall player pool. Next game I'm going to talk about is a 206.5 point total. Now, I can show you some. I can tell you something that's going to run a lot of people off of this game, and it's the fact that the Utah Jazz, in one of the lower point totals on the slate at 206.5, are giving up 13.5 points. Now, I want you to look at this a different way. If the game is 206.5 point total between two teams, but you've got a 13.5 point spread, that means there's going to be a ton of scoring on the Utah side. Give me some of that, especially for the cheap. You talk about maybe rolling out a guy like Ingles, maybe some Joe Johnson. George Hill is still cheap at 6.3. You don't have to go to a guy like Gordon Hayward if you don't want to, because he's going to be seeing RHJ, who is a solid defender. But there's ways to get pieces of this game. Even Rudy Gobert, man, matched up against the softest center in the league, and Brook Lopez could be in a solid spot. On the Brooklyn side, I never can guess right. One of these guys is going to get 30 minutes and hit 6x value. One of them. I can never have a good read on who it's going to be. Last time it was Karis LeVert. It was Spencer Dinwiddie at some spots. It was, Isaiah Whitehead. It's Brook Lopez. It was Trevor Booker. There's so many motherfuckers on this team that can go out and, return value for you. But on a 10-game slate, I don't have to dig through the dumpster, man. I just rather stack some guys, or just, cherry pick guys that's going to be playing against the Brooklyn Nets, because you can attack them everywhere. Next game I'm going to talk about is the San Antonio Spurs going to NOLA to take on the Pelicans. This is a 207 point total. Every time Boogie has been suspended, I want y'all to look up this graphic. Look at the stat. Boogie's games after suspensions. If my knowledge is not escaping me, if my memory is correct, every time this dude gets suspended, when he comes back, he fucking balls. And for that reason, at 9.2K, I believe, I am going to have me some Boogie tomorrow. I'm going to have some Boogie tomorrow. 207 points is the total. San Antonio Spurs are only giving up 6 points, so it's not an incredibly large spread. There's a few guys we can look to on the San Antonio side at the point guard spot. I have no problem with you paying 4.5 for Tony Parker and expecting maybe a 5 to 6x return on that investment. I don't have a problem with that. Kawhi Leonard is going to be in a solid spot. Small forwards trash the New Orleans Pelicans. He's going to be seeing maybe some Dante Cunningham or some shit like that. Dude might go nuts tomorrow. He might go nuts tomorrow. I'm going to have some Kawhi Leonard tomorrow in my lineups, definitely. Also, I kind of like Dwayne Dedmon more than I like LaMarcus Aldridge or David Lee. Dedmon is at 4.4K. I think he's still priced down on FanDuel as well, so I don't have a problem with you rostering him, especially if he's getting the start. I like him. On the New Orleans Pelicans side, I will not be on Anthony Davis. I am calling for an all-out Anthony Davis fade tomorrow. If you're going to play anybody from the New Orleans Pelicans, make sure you play Boogie. I think he's going to ball out tomorrow. And at 9.2K, that can be a solid fucking game. He can 6X. And the dude is like 50 points waiting to happen. So if he has a great game, this dude can score 65, 70 points, even with Anthony Davis on the court with him. So I like him tomorrow. And I won't be too heavily on a guy, on Drew Holiday, just because he's not going to, usage, man, is how a play ends. Either a play ends in, it ends in free throws, a foul, it ends in a turnover, or it ends in buckets. And I don't think that we're going to see a lot of plays end by the hand of Drew Holiday tomorrow. It's going to be all Boogie. It's going to be a lot of AD. And that's the way I'm going to play that game tomorrow. Last game on the slate is going to be the game a lot of people are going to have stuff invested in, because it's a 220-point total. The spread is not very huge. It's 7.5 points. The LA Lakers are a home dog. You know I like the fight in the home dog. But Isaiah Thomas on the slate, going up against a lackluster point guard defense. I don't have a problem with Isaiah Thomas at 9.3. He's probably one of my favorite point guard players on the slate. I like him a lot. Avery Bradley's a no for me. We talked about that already. And I think we can look to Al Horford in this game too, because he's a very active big and he can shoot as well. He's trending up. he had been in a slump over maybe a 4-game stretch, and then he came out and had a really solid game out last time against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think he can do that definitely against the LA Lakers. On the Lakers side, of course, I want to attack Boston rebounding the basketball, but I've got to figure out if I want to do it cheap or if I want to pay up. And I mean pay up in respect to the Lakers, not in respect to the entire slate. If I want to pay up as far as the Lakers are concerned, Julius Randle is an option, but paying down never hurt nobody, man. Those guys can rip off 30 DraftKings points. We're talking about um, Zubac, maybe some Tyreek Black, or even Larry Nance Jr. All players that I kind of like. Jordan Clarkson off of the bench can be a solid play because we know we're not going to see a ton of minutes for Avery Bradley. He's probably gonna give us 15 to 20 minutes tomorrow. Uh, Channing Crowder, Jay Crowder can be a solid play as well in this game. A lot of people are gonna want to roster D'Angelo Russell, but I'm just not sure. I mean, because Isaiah Thomas kind of sucks defensively. This dude's a defensive liability. This dude's like 5'5", and big point guards are very good to roster against him, and that's what D'Angelo Russell is. But D'Angelo Russell is still such an inconsistent player that when I have exposure to him tomorrow, because on a 10-game slate, I'm probably going to roll 10 lines. I'm going to have him at least in one of the 10. So that is the overall outlook of the player pricing, the point totals, everything that we had to go over in tonight's show. Of course, I'm your host, the DFS Jerusalem. Shout out again to all the supporters, man. Thank y'all, man. I literally love you, man. Thank you so much. You have no idea what you just given me an hour of your day is meaning to me and my family. Thank you so very much for everything that you're doing. There's so many different ways that you have supported the show. If you wanted to continue to support the show, there's a few different ways too. You can go over here to this box where it says support the show. Go ahead and click that box, man, and let it take you where it has to take you. In order for you to support the podcast, it's going to go to benefits. It's going to be beneficial to you. It's going to go to improvements of not only the show, but the website. Also, you can visit my personal PayPal at SimmonsMaurice95 at yahoo.com. You can copy some DFS Sweatshop swag. Hats are going to be going on order very soon. We've got the t-shirts and the hoodies already in the mix. The hats are going to be going on order very soon. I'm still working out a deal with Lids, trying to negotiate that so I can get enough to where I can get them out to you at a really solid price. Also, if you want to become a for show member of the DFS Sweatshop, all you got to do, man, is go check out the website at www.dfssweatshop.com for the price of half a cup of coffee. 2 punk ass quarters, $14.99 per month. You will be ushered into the Facebook group enveloped in love and sports and DFS. We will teach you how to become a profitable daily fantasy sports player. It's not one of those deals where you pay one price for one sport and one price for the other sport. No, we got guys talking MLB, NHL, NASCAR. Coach Stewart puts out a dope ass PGA article every week. So this is a family vibe. It's all inclusive. We want you inside. Go hit up the website www.dfssweatshop.com. That's where you're going to receive all the tips, tricks, and tutelage that's going to make you a profitable daily fantasy sports player. Baseball is right around the corner. We are gearing up for that. Just an awesome time to be in the DFS Sweatshop and to be a part of a fast-growing DFS community. Thank you. We are the best in the game, and it is all your fault. Go ahead and hit us up. And the number one thing that I want you to do whenever you are in the DFS Sweatshop is go out and keep it 300.